Hi guys, welcome back to another in this series, and it's your boy Lennox Bennett here, more IT paper too. All right, all the best in your exam, guys. All right, this one says state one advantage and one disadvantage of the first item over the second item in each of the following pairs. So what they want you to do, they want you to state one advantage of character printer versus line printer, and also one disadvantage. All right, so notice they say first over last. So read it again. State one advantage and one disadvantage of the first item over the second item in each of the following pairs. All right, one advantage of the character printer is that it is cheaper. So it's cheaper than the line printer. So that's the advantage. It's cheaper, and all time hard. So if it's cheaper, it's better. All right. One disadvantage is that character printer is slower. So character printer is slower. Makes sense, because it had one character at a time, while line just it's line. So it's slower. So even though it's cheaper, the disadvantage is that it's slower than the line printer. All right, so let's go down to the next pair. Let's go. Just like a recap, it says state one advantage of the character printer over the line printer. All right, so one, the character printer is cheaper than the line printer, and the disadvantage, the character printer is slower than the line printer. Just to recap a bit before we move on. Let's go. All right, so our next pair is microfilm output versus the printed output. All right, so first we're gonna list the advantage, and one of the advantage of the microfilm is that the microfilm output can store much more information in a smaller space than the printed output. So it stores much more information in a smaller space. So that's the advantage. All right, than the printed output. Let's look at the disadvantage now. So the disadvantage of the microfilm is more expensive. And so time hard. So guys, these are some of the things that CSEC will ask you and they expect you to answer. All right, it's much more expensive than the printed output. All right, so let's recap. The microfilm output, its advantage, it's store much more information in a smaller space, and the disadvantage, it's much more expensive. And another disadvantage, even though they say one, the microfilm needs special equipment to read the information. So that's another, you have to have a special. All right, let's go down to the next pair. Let's go. All right, so our next pair is the magnetic tape versus the magnetic hard disk. What is one of the advantages of the magnetic tape over the magnetic hard disk? Type that in the comment section, guys. Let's see if you guys are ready. So one of the advantages, I'm gonna read two and type one. So the magnetic tape is cheaper than the magnetic hard disk. And also the magnetic tape has a larger capacity than the magnetic hard disk. So I'm gonna go with the last one. I'm gonna type the last one. We wanna wish you guys all the very best. It has a larger capacity. And bear in mind, it is also cheaper. Let me type it too. Probably, you know, it never, you never can tell, it might come in the exam. All right, can be two, so it's cheaper. All right, so let's look at the magnetic tape and the magnetic hard disk. So the magnetic tape has a larger capacity, so it can hold more than the magnetic hard disk, and also the magnetic tape, it is cheaper. All right, so not only does it hold more, but it's cheaper. Let's go. Welcome, guys, again. So let's look at the optical disc versus the magnetic disc, magnetic hard disk rather. All right. So remember, we're supposed to list the advantage of the optical disc and then the disadvantage of the optical disc versus the magnetic disc. Just in case someone is just joining, you need to watch back the tape from the very front. All right, let's go. So one of the advantage of the optical disc has a larger capacity. So it has a larger capacity. So you know, storage is everything, right? I'm just gonna list some more just in case you say come with two this year or three, all right? So the optical disc can retain data longer. So it's retain data longer. So it retains data longer than the magnetic hard disk. Another advantage is that the optical disc is read only. Therefore, information cannot be tampered with. So it's read only. Information, and that's very important. Information cannot be tampered with. Let's look at the disadvantage. All right, let's look at the disadvantage of the optical disc versus the hard disk. Now, the disadvantage is that the optical disc is slower and more expensive. So, disadvantage, it's slower and more expensive. All right, so let's look at back, let's look at recap. One of the advantage, well, more than one. The advantages of the optical disc versus the magnetic disc is that the optical disc has a larger capacity. The optical disc retain data longer. The optical disc is a read only, so therefore information cannot be tampered with, while the disadvantage is that it's slower and more expensive than the magnetic disc. You know, time hard, so if it's expensive, it's a disadvantage. All right, so this one's to explain briefly each of the following terms. The first one is bistable. Now, bistable, as the word bi suggests, it have two states, just like a light switch, right? One is either on or off. So that's what they mean by stable device, capable of assuming either one or two stable state. And we use a light switch on an on or off. All right, let's look at gigabyte now. Gigabyte is basically 10 to the 9 bytes, or we can type it out. A whole heap of something, guys. All right, let's look at the operating system. So I said briefly explain what is meant by the operating system. Now, the operating system is a set of programs used to control the operations of a computer. All right. All right. So let's recap. We have what we call the stable device, and it is in two stable state, either one or the other. So it's two, and gigabyte is basically 10 to the 9 bytes, while the operating system is a set of program used to control the computer system. Let's move on. Let's go. All right, so next up we have what we call the barcode. What is a barcode? Now, barcode is a series of parallel light and dark lines representing a code. So it's a series of parallel, and you know me like the word because it's not maths. It's a series of parallel lights and dark lines representing a code. And surely when you go to the supermarket, you see they scan the thing on the cashier goes, that's the barcode, that little thing you do for black lines. And what it is, it's the code of the product. So it's basically the code. So you can identify that product. So when it comes up, corned beef, whatever, whatever. All right. So it's pleased to identify spell it wrong, gotcha. So it's to identify the product. So let's recap. So a barcode is a series of parallel line and dark line representing a code placed to identify. This not spelled so right, but forgive me, I for the I, identify. All right. So let's look at what's an expert system. What is an expert system? An expert system is a program that produces the knowledge and thought process of human expert in certain well-defined field. All right, so it's basically like, what do I call that now? So it's a program and it have basically some of the human qualities. So it's basically in a jiffy. All right. So now it says, name one area in which expert systems are used. Expert systems are used in medicine, of course. That's one of the first one that we probably think of, right? So medicine, like we diagnose infections, blood disease, prescription of medicine, all of those, all right? And that's very important, all right? The medical, Jamaica needs so much things in the medicine field. Another one is chemistry. Big up to all who do chemistry, all the very best, all right? And it can identify molecular structure of compound. That's an example. And they can also use in the with the weather or something. So read up on that, guys. All right. Geology. You can search for basically search for mineral deposits. So I gave three. All right, so let's look at it again. So medicine, chemistry, and geology. All right, guys, let's go. Let's move on to the next. We have 3 pages to go. Let's see if we can get it done. Let's go, let's go. All right, they say give one advantage and one disadvantage of using an expert system in the area named above. All right, so we name three, so we're gonna give for three also. All right. One thing about machine, they do not display judgment. They can't do that. That's a human quality. No, but that would be a disadvantage. Advantage, right? So one thing with computer, they're not biased. It's not human, so there's no bias. So if you're sick, no bias. All right. Another one is it does not jump to conclusion. No human love do that. I'm gonna see if I can do another video, guys, on like input, output, and all of them something there. I'm searching for those. All right. Next thing, it's systematically consider all possible alternative. So it not rule out nothing. All right. Disadvantage, no. It have no common sense. Computers are just program, right? So you don't have any common sense. We say, oh, if this, if that. There's no, just what it is, what it is programmed to do. And one of the next thing too, it cannot adapt easily. So new rules and concepts. So that's one of the disadvantage. One more, cannot reason across disciplines. So you cannot reason. That's how it, as a, it's just what it's programmed to do. All right. Let's look at describe jobs. Describe two jobs, each of the following. System analyst. Let's go. All right, he said describe two jobs, each of the following. So first we have the system analyst, and then we look at the computer operator. So a system analyst does this, right? So it perform system reviews, right? As it suggests, analyze. So it performs system reviews. It can also design information system. Next up, it derives information system requirements. If you guys reading up in guys, don't skip nothing because they can answer anything. All right, computer operator. Computer operator does any one of these. Prepare equipments to run jobs. All right. And you have things like mount tape, remove tape. Diskette, all of those. People no longer use diskette though. And it also monitor the operation. All right, so let's just recap. Describe two jobs, each of the following. System analyst is perform system reviews, design information system. It also derives information system. For the computer operator, it prepares equipment to run jobs, mount and remove tape, diskette, etc. It also monitor the operation of whatever is happening. Depends on which industry, right? Let's go. All right, next up, the database administrator. And you guys can, I like this and I like database. I think it's very useful. Every system use database, school, everything have database. So I think you guys, that's a feel that you guys can go in. So one, create database, obviously. Sometimes it's already created, right? So we can say maintain database. Database always need upgrade, especially in the school system. So we have design, can also design it. Not all database systems are the same. All right, so you can have different design. And I'm gonna put in 2 bonus for this one. It coordinates discussion between user group. All right, so sometimes more than one person is using the same database for different reasons. So that's what it does. All right, this one now, it says, state 2 ways in which a computer can be used by a teacher in his or her job. Well, apart from lesson plan. All right. Apart from lesson plan, I could just put that in because the one I mean to use computer for lesson plan. Also, we can use it to develop course. Like for me personally, I'm writing my book and I develop my own for courses. You guys look out for that. Especially when I'm doing the marathons and stuff. Can use to store students' record. Very important, you know. Turn it on his system, the grades, everything. Also use it to mark script, like the multiple choice. That's how we use computer or school to mark the multiple choice. Let's put it in like that. All right. Next one says state 2 ways in which a computer is beneficial to the banking industry. Let's go. All right. 2 ways in which a computer is beneficial to the banking industry. All right. So it keeps record of the transaction by the customers. I know people and their money go. Keep record of transactions by customers. That's one of the most important thing, record keeping. All right, that's involved in every industry. It provides electronic fund transfer. That's how I get paid. My online classes. So it provides electronic. Big up to everybody who support Mr. Bennett. As me I type in this, I'm so blessed. All right, next one. It provides automated teller machine. You know, all that already. Although them a shoot up the man them. I'm going to do wanna put limit on people money for draw or the automated teller service. Now for do better. And my money if I want draw a million, I draw a million. To no man. All right, so stay 2 ways. 1, keep record of transactions. 2, provides electronic funds transfer. 3, provides automated teller service. All right. All right. It says for each OMR, OCR, and MICR, give an application in which the technology is frequently used. All right, guys, as you can see, we're going to the end. The OMR, optical mark reader, we know that multiple choice. So you guys multiple choice, that's using that. Next up, we have the OCR, and that converts a printed document to machine readable. And then we have the MICR, and this is used by the bank to read the information and check. All right, guys, seems like we come to the last page. Let's recap what we just did. So you look at the OMR, and that's the multiple choice. OCR converts a printed document to machine readable, and the MICR, which is used by the bank to read information on checks. Let's go. Thank you guys for staying till the end. All right, it says data security refers to the protection of data from destruction or corruption. Say three methods in which we can employ to ensure data security. This is very important. Remember, you have identity theft and all of these things. All right, so you can use fireproof cabinets for storing tapes and this. That's one thing. You don't want people get to your this. So you can use fireproof cabinet. So if in case of fire or anything. Next up, protecting backup, very important, right? So just in case the data get corrupted or whatever, you have a backup recovery system. Very important. Simple things like passwords, very important. Use antivirus software, even though viruses are not so prevalent already, again, so still can put it. And what you can do is, so depending on the job, you restrict the password. So not everyone have access to all of the information. So for example, if somebody doing what we consider a low level job, they are restricted, they can't have access. So you have restriction. Very important, because if a lot of people have access, then it hard to pinpoint who. So restrict access to certain records. So only if it involves your job description, you are able to have access to it. All right, let's go. We're on the last page, guys. Let's go. Hit the like button if you have not done so. All right, this one says, draw a labeled diagram Showing the main component of a computer system indicate clearly the direction in which each data flow. Oh Lord. All right, so let's just try that. Guys, ensure that you are subscribed. All right, so here we have input device. That's one of the things that I say I want to review. Input, output device, piracy, all of those. I want to look at all of those. Hopefully I get the time to do so. As you guys know, I'm not a computer teacher. A lot of persons text me and say, guys, sorry, I have class, can I join my class? When I tell them I don't teach IT, they think I don't want them to be a part of my class. I'm actually a math teacher, but I just do this for my subscribers. All right, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So guys, just appreciate it by liking. All right, so you have the backing up storage, right? And let's say they want to see all data, right? So the input put information in, so this is where it will go. For output device, taking out from the CPU, right? And for storage, it would be to and from. So there we have it. That's how data flow. So you can put in, take out. Input, basically putting in, and output, taking out of the CPU. Thank you guys. So, oh, so my number there, guys. Can send me a WhatsApp or whatever. I will definitely respond. All right. Thank you guys for watching to the end. I will see you guys soon. Hopefully in another IT video before the exam. This is an Minutes. I'm out and out. See you guys in another video.